Ok. Cafezito.
Já fui agora buscar. Eu estava a dizer, olha, eu estou a oferecer. Eu também era um pouquinho. Os grupos, não era assim pequenino, mas depois à tarde eram só 3 tucos, eu e o Yuri. Amanhã ainda éramos, o primeiro Iber, ontem ainda éramos para aí 3 grupos, não era? É.
Ah, mas o barco é grande, não é isso que é nosso.
Pois, mas hoje acho que é só um Iber, a não ser que eles lá inventem um para a tarde. Eu estava na garagem, mandaram-me assim, semana passada, olha Filipe, há um Iber, vai lá ter com os teus colegas.
Só foi legal.
Pois, tu
Era
estavas.
só eu e a Adriana.
Eu não estava aí, eu sei que os meus gajos já foram, está aqui os senhores, vai, eu, ok. Eu pronto.
Esse inicialmente era só eu e a Adriana, depois de repente expandiu para 8 e depois havia mais clientes e ainda tiveste que vir tu.
Yeah. Acho que aquilo foi qualquer merda lá do escritório. Já a miúda no escritório outra vez fez merda quando o teu tuk-tuk avariou. O João ficou na Rua do Ouro.
Sim, eu estive lá. É verdade.
E então, o tuk-tuk, o que o João me disse foi, eles não mandam porque já mandaram 3 vezes. E no escritório não pediram. Mas não, era 3 vezes gratuita, claro que vão mandar, eles têm que pagar. Mas a miúda do escritório não mandou. Então era a coisa, a José. Quer dizer, então mas não se manda, está o homem à espera, não se manda para a rapariga, ai, então. E a miúda...
Então depois eu passei lá mais tarde, estava lá uma miúda.
Sim, nós trocámos, ela ficou lá.
É que aquilo nem se conseguia pôr o tuk no passeio, eu estive lá a tentar,
o tuk não mandou o reboque porque não era gratuito.
Bloqueou mesmo,
estás a brincar.
Nem dava para pôr no passeio, estás a ver?
E estavam mais à frente parados, estavam também mais à frente, quando tu estavas, estavam mais à frente do lado esquerdo, que é o amigo o irmão de um amigo meu, também ficou lá.
Sim, eu tinha amigo. Eu tinha a empurrar para nós termos o mesmo no mesmo altura.
Estavam 2 parados da Rua do Ouro. Da Rua do Ouro.
Olá, João. Tudo bem?
Outra vez? Não.
Já te cumprimentei.
Já.
Contigo na garagem.
Eu cheguei pois é, do farol, eu cheguei a dormir. Isto de acordar às 5 da manhã é fodido.
Olha, só para tu saberes,
Tem que arranjar.
às vezes também tem que ser.
Foi um gajo
Ó,
que
Yuri.
trabalha lá que me ofereceu.
Yuri, às vezes tu também tens que ler as setas das chapas, não é?
O quê?
Lá, olha, vê lá a chapa. Nunca vês? Que está lá aí? Não fizeste a carta de condução? Foi lá.
Mas isso é mesmo
Olha,
importante.
eu gostei bué da promoção que fizeste à miúda ontem.
Curtiste?
A fazer promoção. Fizeste uma
apanhei.
pergunta e cortaste.
Já apanhei, ele toca umas coisas, já apanhei.
Então que promoção é essa? Fazes-lhe uma pergunta e a miúda não responde.
Epá, não, sabes porquê? Porque eu não cheguei a completar aquilo, pá. Ficou ali o take e depois...
Já viste o vídeo?
Sim, já. Não, mas apanhaste uns acordes e
Mas
os
depois ele
respiros
fez,
da
mas
ideia.
ele depois fez-lhe uma
Já.
pergunta e aquilo corta, já vai responder. Como é que faz uma promoção uma pessoa? Tipo,
Mas o vídeo não está acabado.
Pois,
Tenho ideia que
edição
aquilo é uma
ainda.
intro.
O vídeo tem para aí 10 minutos. Como é que chama esse vídeo? Sabia assim? Já, aquilo é só um vídeo.
Ele está sempre ali.
É que ela estava ali no.
E aí ali até a estrela estudante.
Eu já pensei em trazer uma guitarrinha, 3 claves, para ir a tocar.
Sabes tocar?
Sei, não sou grande guitarrista, mas toco umas cenas.
Está lá, está lá.
Com 3 quartos. Uma acústica 3 quartos, menina. Opa, porque é pequenina, que é assim. É uma grande.
Traz uma com 3 quartos, a diferença é.
Pensei,
Sei lá, mas gosto muito delas para andar.
Então, as minhas por acaso
pequenininho.
o elétrico tem uma corte. Pá, é assim, não é de grande guitarra, mas tem um bom som.
Como é que é? Só pastel, não é? Vamos aqui à sombrinha, porra. Vamos apanhar sol, já o resto. É isso. Não, foi bonito.
Depois vai ver. Ah, e nós?
Ei, este tem que mudar aquele que escorrega, ainda está como um passo.
Bem, eu vou só ali à máquina comprar alguma cena. Pá, até já, pessoal.
Deixa aí a chave.
É isso, então quem está a ouvir a missa, então ela já sabe tudo, não precisa ouvir nada.
Ontem estávamos a fazer o Uber e o gajo veio atrás de mim. Pá, eu já disse bem da vez, encosta para os carros passarem quando vem uma grande fila. E eu fazendo assim. E ele chega-se ao pé de mim. Hã? E eu, man, é para te encostares. Quando paramos assim, Yuri, vamos que eu disse outra vez. Para te encostares. Se não te encostares, vês a minha mão, encostas. Lembras que eu te disse? Ah, tenho uma vaga ideia.
Uma vaga aqui?
Uma vaga ideia. Tenho uma vaga ideia desta conversa que já tivemos.
Eu não tenho uma vaga ideia, tenho uma vaga iná.
Oh, caralho, mano, foda-se.
O que é que estás a pensar fazer? Pois, spa.
Opa,
Estrela.
então, não temos vinho. Então, vamos já direitos ao monte, né? Quando saímos do monte, vamos ao Panteão. Vamos lá à voltinha. Sabes porquê? Porque ultimamente não há vinhos, tenho ido à Basílica da Estrela. Vamos, à mesma. Epá, mas como temos bué de tempo, já por 2 Ibers que largámos os clientes no jardim, mas depois é fedido, porque há uns que pedem de cerveja e há uns já querem ir embora. Depois temos de estar à espera que os outros acabem a cerveja e... Pá. Por isso, vamos até ao Panteão, queimamos aí um bocadinho de tempo, depois vamos até aos pastéis, a mesma rota assim.
Então, mas antes podemos fazer São Vicente Panteão antes de chegar ao
também
monte.
pensei nisso, yeah. Também podemos fazer isso.
Depois descer no caracol.
Ou seja, quando subimos para a Graça viramos para a direita, não é?
Sim.
Descemos a calçada de Voz do Operário, vamos até ao Panteão, e em vez de subirmos outra vez por aí, subimos pela... hoje há a Feira da Ladra, peraí...
Ainda melhor.
Hoje há a
mais tempo.
Ladra, está bem. Sim, depois subimos pelas traseiras, subimos outra vez, chegamos ao quartel e vamos para a direita. Vamos ao monte, fazemos isso, pode ser, já. Está bem. Por mim? Deixa o Yuri chegar então para a gente. Yuri! Epá, e depois fazemos outra paragem na Basílica da Estrela. E porque ainda por cima de manhã, pá, não há trânsito nenhum, isto faz-se bem rápido. Bem rápido. E quase certeza que vamos acabar isto mais cedo. Eu desbaixei bastante.
À tarde não há nada.
Epá, por enquanto não. Mas eles ultimamente têm inventado de fazer outro Iber aí.
Quem é que veio ontem? Foi Boost?
Foi o Augusto.
Foi?
Foi.
Estava aí o O2 da Boost, tá?
120.
É?
Porquê que não te chamaram?
Não sei. Mas olha, ainda foi melhor assim, sabes?
Eles
Tive um
andam
grande
a-
dia de praia.
Eles andam a cortar no que podem. Então só um da Boost se calhar ganha um bocadinho menos, metem essa.
Sim.
Nós temos
Sabes
pessoal,
que eu-
nós temos pessoal que tem contrato, não tem. Os sem contrato, por exemplo, eu, se eu for ver, quando faço team leader dão mais 10 euros. E os com contrato não pagam mais 6 euros. E então eles têm posto mais o pessoal contrato de team leader, estás a ver?
How much is this?
Hmm?
How much to...
We are in tour, but every price is different.
Yeah.
No, the normal price is 80 euros per hour.
80 euros an hour.
Yeah.
How far's the city centre?
What way is the
City centre?
City center?
Yeah.
Oh, just 20 minutes by feet.
20
That
minutes.
way, that way.
So just that way, and the next place on the right side.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to show you. Yes, I can start with terminal number 28. And you can make it after this. We can start now.
Olha, nós vamos fazer assim, isso é uma cena diferente. Nós, primeira paragem é ao monte, mas antes de irmos ao monte vamos ao panteão. Estás a ver? Vens atrás de mim, vamos fazer a mesma cena de ontem. Damos aqui a voltinha, Madalena, viramos à direita, subimos à Alfama. Quando chegamos à Graça, em vez de virarmos para a esquerda para o Largo da Graça,
Exato, viramos
vamos virar para a direita, lembras quando estava cortado?
Sim.
Chegas à Voz do Operário, vais para São Vicente,
Sim.
entramos, ou Javaldra,
Ou virar à direita em vez de virar para a Graça, ou virar à direita,
vais
aquela
para
rua
baixo,
destes.
para São Vicente.
Depois há uma rua assim, que é aquela para baixo, né?
Nós vamos virar para a Igreja de São Vicente, para a Feira da Vadra.
Já perceberam como é que é a coisa e tal?
Mas eu sei onde é que tu estás a falar, eu sei onde é que tu estás a falar.
Entramos pela Igreja de São Vicente, pela Feira da Vadra, damos a volta ao Panteão, depois não saímos por onde entramos. Vamos virar à direita,
Por
vamos para cima.
aquele túnelzinho ali que nós passamos que vai dar a Graça lá para cima.
Não, o túnel é por baixo. Passas pelo túnel depois da igreja.
Não, peraí, olha.
Não interessa.
Ó, Zabi, anda cá.
Vamos para
Anda cá.
cima, pela
Anda cá,
graça.
chega aqui, meu. Anda aqui.
Depois é que vamos.
Yes, talk to him, he will explain you
Depois é que
everything,
vamos para o
alright?
monte.
He's available.
Quando saímos do monte, vamos fazer sair o caracol, vamos para uma moraria. Pronto. Vamos ao. Foda-se. Martim Muniz, Figueira e Rocio. Pastéis, saímos, damos a volta. Rua do Ouro, vamos até ao Chiado. Passamos para esse Real, vamos sempre em frente para irmos à Basílica da Estrela. Quando saímos da Estrela, a mesma história de ontem. Damos a ver voltinha para passarmos em frente ao Parlamento. Pronto, depois vamos para aqui. Vamos até ao Panteão, para não estar a largá-los lá no...
Só tenho duas dúvidas para confirmar. Mas a partida, pá, eu sigo que não há problema, mas só para confirmar. Aquela rua, tipo, como é que eu vou dizer, como é que eu te consigo explicar? Quando estamos a subir, tipo, as Portas do Sol para ir para a Graça, né? Quando aquela rua que tu vira à esquerda está cortada, nós virávamos para aquela rua à direita.
Depois das
E
Portas do Sol?
Sim, depois das Portas do Sol, quando aquela rua que vai à esquerda, que vai dar diretamente à Graça, está
Bem,
cortada,
depois das Portas do Sol, tens,
nós
depois
costumamos virar à direita, que é essa rua que estás a falar.
Ei, pá, isso é depois, isso é na Graça, ao pé da Igreja da Graça.
Sim,
Pronto.
exatamente. E acabando essa rua,
Sim, viras para baixo como se tivesse cortado.
para baixo. Ok.
Para baixo. E depois, em vez de virares para cima, continuamos para baixo. Para a
Continuamos
igreja.
para baixo,
São
ok, era
Vicente.
isso,
Pronto,
ok.
isso é.
E a segunda dúvida era... Caracol, e a seguir ao caracol,
Na moradia.
sim, na moraria, tipo, logo a seguir aquela rampa do caracol, não sei o quê, tipo, depois...
Viras à esquerda,
Ok, a
depois
esquerda,
continuas,
ok,
depois
ok,
para
ok,
baixo.
ok. Que eu às vezes costumo virar à direita, logo à direita.
Não, mas
logo
ali não vais virar à direita.
Ok, ali à esquerda, ok.
Nem, acho que em nenhum Iber viraste à direita.
Acho que sim.
Foi?
Acho que foi o Tiago.
Deve estar fechado qualquer coisa.
Que aquilo são pequenos percursos que é para uma pessoa para
É, o
ter
vinho
a
da
certeza,
Madeira, o bolo do
uma
Caco,
pessoa
se
vira à
quiserem comprar
esquerda,
alguma coisa,
vira à
compra. Vai,
direita e
tchau.
passa.
Não é como o Sr. Orlando. O Sr. Orlando dava ali uma garagem.
Baby, don't worry, be happy. Baby, don't worry, be happy.
Come with me, guys. You are four, yeah? Yeah. So come with me.
Yes. We're looking to do another. Can you recommend? That's what I would prefer. Yes, of course. How would I I'd rather go with them.
Já vai no segundo fuleiro.
Tourists.
Vaizinho, faz um com pipi em vez de um piriloga. Não gosto. Coisa que pode.
Não estava era uma coisa que existia à face da terra.
Fala assim qualquer um.
Oi, claro.
Okay, come with me, please.
João, pode ser acompanhá-los, por favor?
Sim, eu já tenho 3 agora.
No teu, são dois?
Tá bem. Ok. So.
Olha, mas isto é o teu, João.
Sim, é meu.
Olha, mandei-os para aí. São quantos? Dois?
Dois.
Já estão aí três.
Sim, mas é o senhor que disse, sabe?
Ah, ok.
Eu já disse. Sabe? Ok. You get another 2 people? Please. So yeah, there's 6 places.
Okay.
6 places? No way. We're not putting 6 people on it.
In the middle there. Go on.
I've got a shorts on underneath my skirt.
So
Yeah, I'm going to take
So, good morning.
Good morning.
So, I will be your tour guide. So, little question: where do you come from? All of this from the States or?
I'm from the States, Houston, Texas.
Oh, Houston, Texas. Cowboy. Yes. No, not really. Not really. Yeah, not really. Okay. Yeah, maybe. So, if someone needs extension, yeah.
Thank you. Come over here and see where my seatbelt is.
And you know,
Look, you have a sharp edge right here, and it's already snagged my shirt.
oh, sorry.
See that? Brand new shirt.
You see it's all close because they're all together then. With that back.
Iremos ali na casa do primeiro-ministro para dar a voltinha, para passar frio do Parlamento e descarregar. Então, olha,
Yeah, because one of the persons she wants to go. Yes.
tens quantos, João?
Sim.
Tens 5.
Sorry for the interest.
Like, I need a first. I also look behind it. It's actually
Good to see where we've been.
Isto é muito pastel de nata, 18 pastéis de nata. Não se necessita para isto. Não necessita para isto. Se eu quiser estar aqui não, ninguém disse nada. Olha, vai o João a fechar, está bem? O João vai fechar, está bem? Estamos todos fechados na sala.
Estamos todos. 32, está tudo. Deixa eu só entregar.
Very well.
Is there a cart where there's 3 people? Because we're huge. Like over here somewhere where we're not all sitting in each other.
Olha, os gajos não querem sentar no meu tuco. Porque são 5 pessoas.
Tens 5? Então, mas está aqui com 4. Come on this one.
Eu estou em João. Um alargador de cintos. Aquela extensão de cintos.
Esse já estou a ver. É para o... Tens mais que um? Eu tenho um. Só tens um?
Я немного говорю по-русски, потому что у меня нет практики.
That's why we do. Let's stop to leave the tools. I think it's very interesting. And this is a real walk in the mall.
Just check your pulse. All right. My name is Peter. Nice to meet you. That's going to be the time of our group. I normally start the conversation like this. Everyone likes this. I prefer it to like my wife instead she likes it. The cinnamon is the flavor. It's not what a good thing for noise. But I prefer let's go. They're all new houses. I didn't know that. You take a taxi from here, after this, could do, but Yeah, I saw a sign back there. That's second point number 2.
Here we got only cars on top and trains running on the lower. Estática, price. It's also, we went also with it must be made. It's 130 feet. We did that big round. Much more raced.
Why are you showing satellite?
Please look on the right. There's a thermal water fountain. And please look also up a beautiful building. What you see now is the Baixa, which is translated like downtown. That was destroyed by earthquake 7055 and a tsunami. So it means after the earthquake, the stones was washed away by the tsunami. So everything which you see here is built after 7055. So, and it looks a little bit like old New York because straight line streets and houses are more or less the same size. But even the distance of the windows are all the same on the right side, downtown. So, but one building they like to make it like it was, and they search all the stones around the city to put it again. There's this church here on the right. And why they take so much work of it? Because here prayed a very important discoverer. His name was Vasco da Gama. He prayed before he goes to his discoveries. That's why they want to rebuild it. You see, straight line streets, buildings are more or less the same size. So we will go to the right, which is more or less the part of Grassa and Alfama, and we will pass a site which could be very important when you came back to your site. Maybe you found some guy who came original from Lisbon, and then you share, oh, it was nice, maybe you will say like that, and then he asked you a question. When you're not understood, you don't understand it. He will ask you if you saw the Sant Antonio, which is the Sant Anthony. So, and what does it mean? I will show you. Sant Anthony get his holy status in Padua, Italy. He is the saint of the poor people and the lost things. And why the Lisbon people take so seriously? Because he born in Lisbon. So Sant Anthony came from Lisbon, and there you see on the left side a black statue of him. The house with the flowers in front is the house where he born, and this is the church who gets linked to Sant Anthony. So this church is from the 13th century. The next church is way more older. That is our cathedral, and cathedral in Portuguese is just simple, we say just Sé. So that is the Sé de Lisboa. The Sé de Lisboa survived the earthquake. So only one pillar moved about 40 centimeters, but the roof didn't fall down. But always when it's rain outside, it's rain also inside. Means in the winter time when it rains a lot, maybe they have the most cleanest floor.
How old is this church?
1147. So it was directly constructed after our king arrived in the Reconquista against the Moorish. So, and it is built on a battlefield of the Crusaders, and here fighted the Portuguese and the English together. The English was the biggest amount of Crusaders to help us to fight against the Moorish. So this thing here is a mirador that we called a view area. You have a big view to the harbor from this one, and also to the cruise liners. The name of it is Santa Lucia, and that is very typical for Lisbon because we have a lot of hills. We have a lot of miradores. And the next one is just a few meters. Next one have a poetical name, Portas do Sol, which is in English, the doors to the sun. And yes, he is always shining in the sun. And it have also a statue, the statue of São Vicente, you see. And on the left hand, you see a ship, and on the ship, 2 crows, right? That is the shield of Lisbon, a ship and two crows. And São Vicente is quite very important for the Portuguese history, because we are the nation who was founded in a war and built in a war against a non-Christian empire, which was the Moorish who prayed for the Islam. So São Vicente get his holy status much sooner, 300 years before, in the 4th century, in fighting also against a big empire which was also un-Christian. In the 4th century was the Roman Empire. So he get his holy status in Saragossa, which is now in Spain. And when also the Moorish arrived in the 7th century, they saw the grave of him and get notice what is about him. They get afraid and took the bones of him away. And when our king arrived to Lisbon, he get notice the bones are in southern Portugal, was still occupied by the Moorish. So he sent crusaders to bring back the bones of São Vicente. So please look on this tiny little house that survived also the earthquake, incomplete. So whole Lisbon before 1755 looked like this tiny little house, a lot of them. And another thing here behind the bus station, there you see a modern art, a woman in a mosaic. Our city invited a lot of modern artists, and they came from all over the world to make some places like they want, but mostly they share something about Portugal and Lisbon. That's why we believe this face is from Amália Rodrigues, our most important fadista. Fadista are people who sing the fado, the Portuguese fado music, the Portuguese folk music. So let's talk about São Vicente again. So our king sent crusaders on Portuguese night to bring back the bones from the Algarve, which was still occupied. So, and they found it, and they bring back, and the whole way from Algarve to Lisbon, they're following 2 crows. And nowadays these crows are symbol of São Vicente, and also symbol of the fighting against un-Christian empires. So the next church is Igreja da Graça, the Church of Grace. For our Portuguese view is not very old. It is from the 16th century. You see on the left. The whole quarter called here Grace, Graça. So the age is not very important, but it is linked to a convent. And that is important. The convent names is the Convent of Christus. Maybe you never heard of, but the heritage of the Convent of Christus, maybe you heard of. You see there's a house, looks like a little castle. There is the convent located. So, and the convent.
Do you have nuns there?
No. Not nuns, monks. So the heritage of the Christus convent are the Templar Knights. The Templar Knights was the protector of the holy sites, even in the Middle East, and also in Europe. And there was the only one who had the permission to lend money in the Middle Ages, because it was back then unchristian to make bank trades. But you can guess, if you are the only bank in Europe, you get rich like stupid. And that notice also the King of France. The King of France began to ask for money, and the Templar Knights gave him money. He asked again, the Templar Knights give again, and one day the Templar Knights do have enough. And then the King of France go to the Pope and say they are praying to the devil. And the Pope accepted it. And so the Templar Knights have to flee from all over Europe. Have to flee from all over Europe. And where they could come to Portugal. But of course, you know, Portugal is Catholic. Back then, of course, also, we have to follow the Pope somehow. And we just closed the Templar Knight official, open a new convent, which is the convent of Christus, and put the people all inside. So this one is the church called São Vicente, because here are the bones located of São Vicente. And it is not only the bones, also always when a Portuguese king died, they open the body, take the heart, put the heart in a jar and put it next to São Vicente down below the floor. Because our kings served the Christianity and spread it even over the world, and so they want to be next to São Vicente, who fight also for the Christianity against a big empire. And that is the battlefield of the Crusaders, of the Germans and the Flemish. And a little fun fact, Flemish in Portuguese is called Flamingo. Flemish became later the North Belgium and the Netherlands. Dat is een vleemarkt, Feira de Ladra. And Templar Knights flee to Portugal, and we opened the Convent of Christus. So they had to flee in the year 1307, and they take also the sign of them. They had a red cross and thick endings, but they have to change when they make place to the Christus convent. So they put a red cross and white cross inside. So they have to flee in the year 1307. 10 years later, 1317, the Portuguese Navy was founded with the same side of the Christus convent, which makes also the oldest navy in the world. That is Portugal Navy.
What's the name of that market back there?
What's the name of the market back there? What area is it?
The Ladra. Mercado de Ladra. So like the market of the thieves, I would translate it. So now what we see, you see a lot of graves and battlefields. Now we come a place where the people buried, the people of Portugal respect most. And because we respect our folk music, the Fado, very much, please look on the left, the National Pantheon. And that's why we, because we respect a lot the Fado music That's why our most famous fadista, called Amalia Rodriguez, is buried here. And maybe you can guess what we like also very much. The most famous Portuguese right now is who? You don't know? Cristiano Ronaldo? And that's why even soccer player come here. And it was Eusébio. Eusébio o Leão. He is also buried here. Eusébio is born in Mozambique, but back then Mozambique was part of Portugal. Portugal is, you know, just this little tiny nation with 10 million people. But we began the colonial area and we ended the last. And when we began it, we was just 1 million people. And at the same time, France had 14 million, so the ratio was even bigger back then. So the question is maybe, how this tiny little nation could become to an empire that is so big? And the answer is immigration. The answer is because we invented the navigation. Maybe you came back and you will say, oh, the Portuguese invented the navigation, but surely some guy will say, oh, the Vikings was before on the ocean. But the Vikings never knew where there was. They navigate on the coastlines. So when they leave a coastline, they go just farther away to see the next island. And when they found one, they go around to see the next coastline. But maybe if they accept it, they will say, bah, the Romans could paint maps. Yeah, the Romans could paint maps. But they never know where there was. They navigate along the rivers, along the coastlines, and when they go land inwards, they have to build their own streets. Without the streets, they are unfound. So the maps of the Romans look like the railroad maps, the simplified railroad maps. So there was some cities who are in Central Europe on the maps of the Romans. There was next to Rome, just separate by an ocean, little ocean, which is the Mediterranean. So, our first battle of our nation we made for England, because the English helped us very much in the battle against the Moorish. We were very thankful about the English. That's why even our castle named after the King of England, George the First. So then the English asked for help. They had 6.5 million people at that time, and France had 14 million, and France wanted to take over England, and we came with our navy and blocked the French to come over to England. So then the French want to have a revenge. They joined with the Castilians. The Castilians was the most populated country in the Iberia, with also 7 million. They have, like the French, a standing army that was very unusual in a time of Europe in the Middle Ages, when the soon Middle Ages. The wars was fighting by the normal people normally, but this 3, England have also army, had an army. So they join the French and the Castilians, and they want to take Portugal with the army who was 5 times bigger than the Portuguese and the English who wants to help us with 80 longbow knights. And it was about 80 kilometers from here, the place called Aljubarrota. And we wait for them, and they came over with a 5 times bigger army. And after a few hours, the battlefield turns for the Portuguese. And they get very angry. And the Castilians begin to run. And there was a woman with 6 fingers every hand, a bakery woman with a bakery shovel. And she killed 7 Castilians in fleeing. So maybe you're wondering 6 fingers. The thing is, that is the second most common misbuilding, even today. So it's not unusual. But of course, today it will be cut off. And back then they leave it like it is. So the Spanish always get punished. So because Castilians became later the Spanish, they have a lot of success to fight against the other tribes of the Iberian Peninsula, but they always failed with the Portuguese. So this tiny little nation begins after building itself in Europe. They don't want to go land-wise. They like to go to the ocean. We invented the navigation, so it was possible. Then maybe it is not explained the navigation that we get this empire, because with 1 million people, you avoid one thing. You avoid to make wars, because you have not that much people. So how we make our empire? We make our empire in the way that we try to make friends. Our captains leave often a sailor in some place with the one order to make friends. So, and then, in the discover, they have a place where they get water, fresh water and food, and there became part of a trade line. So it was a win-win situation. That is the beginning of the modern diplomacy, which began also in Portugal. So you can guess, if you came back from the discoveries, the other nation get notice that on the sea you can make some money. And they begin also to start the discovery age. And the discovery age is also called the Renaissance. And yes, the Renaissance started here in Portugal. Renaissance means rebirth. So rebirth means we remember what the Romans did. And the Portuguese, they remember the 3 measurements instrument what the Romans used for building the street-line streets, and put it upside down to the stars. And when you have a bit more mathematics, and even you have to calculate the new stars you came along, you get also can calculate where you are on the map. So we come now to the highest point of Lisbon, Nossa Senhora do Monte. our woman on a mountain. Maybe you notice we have a lot of relation with our women. So there we are. On the left you see Saint George, the castle which we taken over from the Moorish. Just a second, I have a step if you want to. Okay, you're faster. There we are.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh,
By the way, I'm French, so.
oh, very great. So, me, I am Portuguese.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oops.
So, you see a monument back there, a Jesus statue. That came later after the Brazilian one. The Brazilian one is called Cristo Redeemer. This one is Cristo Rei, Jesus King. And it is with the foundations, 110 meters high, which makes us the highest statue in Europe and the 7th highest in the world. So you see also the little church here. The little church was before a mosque, the only mosque who survived the attacks by the Crusaders, because the Crusaders was fundamentalistic Christian.
Right, yes.
And this one was because it was the only survivor, the first seat of our bishop. But more interesting, there is a share built in the wall, left by the Moorish in coral stone. And there's a saying, when a pregnant woman sitting there get a good pregnancy. Our first queen, by the way, she was a great queen, she get pregnant, sitting there, get a good pregnancy. Why I say she is a great queen? She came after the earthquake. So the king of the earthquake was Jose I.
Yeah.
The daughter was Maria I. That changed also the history of the world, because the time age events change. The people began to write letters all over Europe in any language. Why this nation who fight again for the Christianity, and then after it even spread all over the world, get hit by God. That was the logical back then. So the time age changed to the new age. What has happened? The Napoleon War, democratization, the founding of the United States. And so, yeah, already, so that's why I call it a new age. So then I want to say, we have something in common because of this woman, this queen, with Russia.
Oh, no.
Because Russia was not overtaken by Napoleon?
No.
Because of his size.
Yes.
And Portugal was also not overtaken by Napoleon because it's way too smart. Because also our queen, what she did, she take the honor to be a capital from Lisbon and bring it to Rio de Janeiro. So all the officials came there to make the empire, came all there. And when the army of Napoleon came in, we began with a guerrilla war. And so the army could not start to take over Portugal. The Spanish, after 2 weeks, get notice, they join the forces of Portugal. And then the Portuguese, the English, of course, again,
Yes.
and the Spanish fighting against Napoleon and win the Peninsula barrier. So So I want to go again to the Discovery Age. Another question. Yeah, you know, we make friends. That's why we get our colonies. You know that we have made the navigation. That's why we had long time to discover the world. 70% of the coastline was first categorized by Portuguese. In the movies you heard about the Northwest Passage of Canada, Francis Drake. Nobody talk about East Passage over Russia. Was the Portuguese. So, of course, then came the other nations, the bigger nation. We have to begin to build our ships different. And what we built 2 masts of these big ships with triangle sails. What is about triangle sails? Only with triangle sails you can sail against the wind in the zigzag course. That's why when you have just 1 mast, it's a triangle sail. If you have more masts, you keep just 1 because you don't want to sail against the wind. You choose the route where the wind is behind you. So if you want to go, I don't know why. If you want to go against, okay. So if you want to go, against the wind, you need triangle sails. So why the Portuguese have 2? The other had just need 1. For this, some exception, you have to go to. Because when you are surrounded by enemies, you can turn against the wind, and then you get faster. But maybe, so if you live in America, maybe you know about guns. So in that time when a big ship turn around, take a long time. And that time you could be shooten. That's why the Portuguese have also different kind of cannon. At first, smaller, again, looks not very smart because of triangle sail makes you slower when the wind is behind you. So you have smaller cannons like that, not that much bigger. But they have a big hole on the back side and a metal jar. And the metal jar, they could prepare the powder and the cannonball and put it in the cannon on the back side. So you shoot, the other prepare, change, shoot again, change, shoot again, shoot again. The others have to put the cannon back, put the powder, press, put the cannonball, press again, put it in front and shoot. So much lower. So what we do, we turn against the wind, shoot like stupid, and everybody wants to be away of us. So maybe you will say, oh, if they have something like a machine gun, why then use not always? Yeah, good question. The thing is, you cannot shoot nothing in the sun. Because always when you shoot, the jar make another form, and there's not the same place where you can. But for this purpose was great. To make wars was not great. And in a way, we avoid to make wars because with 1 million people, how much wars you want to win. So even through, we lost, sometimes we cannot avoid some wars in some colonies. Even through, mostly we win the wars. Only one we lost when we want to help the English against the Germans in the First World War. We protect Belgium and the Germans take our house completely. So, yes, we are still complete there. Okay. So, now let's talk about freedom. Oh boy. So, freedom, we had 25 of April, 1974, a revolution against our dictator, Salazar. And who bring us the freedom was our army. In the time, on the age of our kings, we had not big trouble in our colonies. But because we had a fascist dictator, he was unfriendly to the Portuguese and also unfriendly to the colonies. And the colonies started a war against Portugal. And Portugal have 10 million people. One of the colonies, Angola, had 40 million So normally you cannot go on war, but this dictator, the Portuguese, who even don't like this dictator, and sent it to war to 3 colonies. So, and then after a few years, the army want to go off of this stupid dictator. Why stupid? One of the stupid ideas of him, he was only allowed to paint your house in white. Exception the house with the titles, they have a heritage. Exception also, you could paint something around the windows, around the doors. So you can choose any color, but it was not a good idea to paint it in red, because they will assume you are communist. And the communists, they paint blue. So then, 25th of April, our army, the heads of the army put together, and they said, when there came a special music in the radio, we will march to Lisbon. And there was a woman, again, wants to open a second restaurant. And she bought the flowers of April, which is the carnation flower. So he had to open the radio open by preparing. Okay, let's go.
Finish your story.
I want to know about that woman.
So prepare. She.
Very strong woman.
So she. I can say it on YouTube. So there we are. So she was preparing to open her second restaurant.
Yeah.
And so she bought already the flowers of the April, which is the carnation flowers. And then she heard the music in the radio about brotherhood and freedom. And freedom in the time of dictatorship was forbidden to say it. Even when you
So the Queen, when she was pregnant, what did she have, a boy or a girl?
boy, Peter the Fourth. So you hear the music in the radio? She go out of the street to look what has happened. She saw the passing by soldiers. She runs inside, bring the flowers outside. Give every soldier a carnation flower. And the soldiers put the carnation flower in the gun to show the people that I want to shoot to the people. And that's why it's called the Carnation Revolution. So I hope I can go here. We'll see. Yeah, I see. Another one. Oof.
Eu depois vou já sair ali com os meus clientes que é agrupar lá em baixo. O Filipe já saiu.
O Filipe já saiu?
Não sei, estou a perguntar.
Então, tu estás aqui sempre. Onde está? He is new and young. So, asking question I cannot answer. So, oh. There is. for tourism. I don't know.
Our legs would be hurting.
Your legs would be hurting. A lot of hills, isn't there? So, you notice how we Portuguese make our empire. You notice how Napoleon. So, now I have a question to you. What you guess is the national animal of Portugal? I can give you some hints. We are small, it is small. We are predator, of course, as it is a predator. We are smart.
Okay.
And it is also smart.
Monkey.
It is not the monkey.
Badger.
No,
Lynx.
not the lynx.
Fox.
The fox, right. The fox is the national animal of Portugal. So we're just waiting to join our group together. So there we are. That's not me, that's the Tuk. So I am at 25 of April, so I was only allowed to paint your house in white. 26, the next day, we had already the colors because we painted around the windows. We began to paint the 26. We go all out and begin to paint all of the houses other colors than white. And even today, the government building, we don't like to see it in white. So even the president house, which is the national palace in Belém, it is not white, it is pink. And please look on the left side. You see another example of modern art, a little bit up. Yes. Artists who use a little hammer to make these ornaments, these eyes. This place called the Moradia, that is the place where the most famous fadistas of Lisbon came from. And the most concentration of them, they come from one street in a few seconds. Here on the right, and in this one, this little street, and you see also a lot of pictures on the wall. That is the fadistas. We take the fado very important. Why? Because it is a singing philosophy. So we pointed the difficult questions of life, and the fado maintains our culture. That is a way how you can communicate in a 100% accurate way, because the music have to serve the lyrics. And so you get the whole bunch, not only the logical, also the feelings of it.
João, tem que dar atrás. Mais atrás. Tens meio metro, João. Podes ir mais agora.
Não chega, não chega.
Tá bom, tá bom, tá bom. Qual é o teu problema? Algum problema aí?
É o Trump. So we have the right to go first. Came from the left. So.
Yeah.
And why are you beeping? Because I saw his stupid face. So. And now we come to a place with a special name, Martin Muniz. Martin Muniz is a crusader on a time of the assault against the Moorish castle, which came later, São Jorge. So, Martin Muniz awake at night from his camps, one of the camps of the Crusaders. And so he go a little bit away, we don't know really why. Maybe he want to go pee, I don't know. So he go a little bit away, and then he saw the Moorish people came out of a hole to assault the Crusaders' camps. So he said to himself, let's wait. So he waits. Yuri, anda la pesa. He's so stupid. Anda la. Man. So, and so he waited at the last Moorish want to close the door. And so he goes, put himself in the door, fighting against the last. And the Crusader looking where the Moorish people came from and searching and found him fighting in this hole. So they began to help him. And he dies on the door, but the door could not close. That's why the Crusaders could open then the door and assault the castle much easier. So Martin Muniz, with his action, saved a lot of people the life. That's why he is called a hero.
Ham and eggs.
That girl is wild. That colorful one is pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, maybe somebody. So please look on the right side. That is João I, our most important king. He is the king before of the age of discovery. And what he did, he ordered to build the university, or he ordered to build the navigation school, he ordered to build the shipbuilding engineering. So he is not very known in the world, but his third son, Infante Henrique, is the most translated person in the world, in the most languages in the world. His name is Infante Henrique. You know him in English as Henry the Navigator. And why? Because he get the order from him to build a navigation school and a university. And a fun fact, Henry the Navigator was never on sea, but he get his title for a good reason, because he put our nation on the power to go to the sea. The next place is the Rocio place, and center of it is a pillar. On top is Pedro IV, the son of Maria I. So he was 9 years old when the kingdom, the capital was changed from the still destroyed Lisbon by the earthquake, and was changed to Rio de Janeiro, which was a function city. So he was 9 years old when he came to Rio de Janeiro, and he was still a prince when he came back to Portugal, to this destroyed capital Lisbon. There on the top, Pedro IV. And when he became to be the king of Portugal, then he decided to be also king of Brazil. So he is also Pedro I of Brazil. So the journalist asked him, if you are now the king of both, where you do want to be buried? And he said, I want to be buried in Brazil, but my heart still will stay always in Portugal. And the next king, take it literally. So when I died, open the body. And by the way, before I succeed, please look on the left side. That is the Rocio train station, built in monolithic style. Monolithic, the name came from King Manuel I, a king of the 15th century, which in this area, this style started. This style you found only in Portugal, with ornaments of the sea and ornaments of the sailing ships. And by the way, the trains on this train station stop on the upper floor, because behind is the uptown. Yes, we're going out here, and here you will taste another special kind of history. Oh, you are fun. Huh? Tá bem. No? You don't need? Okay. So please go to the other side of the street and waiting for my colleagues that join us all and bring you to the pastry. We have a famous pastry.
Yeah. We have the rest of the guys. Come with me, please.
So here I am. So
Everyone enjoying the trip? Yes. Yeah. Very good. Good. We accept complaints, but if you have too many, you have to walk to the boat. Yuri!
Yuri! So ladies, come on. We go to the pastry. Let's go.
Tell me one thing, diz-me uma coisa, quanto tempo é que nós vamos ficar no café?
Vamos perguntar a ele. Please. You're welcome.
Eu digo que é quando as coisas não para ficar a falar com eles, chegas, é tudo delas, não é? Para ficar a falar com eles. Nós temos sempre à tua espera, meu. O meu trabalho não é estar sempre a chamar. Chegámos ao Senhor do Monte e o pessoal dentro dos tubos, todos dentro dos tubos, e tu ainda a falar. Não pode ser, não.
Elas estavam a fazer perguntas.
Tu dizes, vamos e vais andando a falar.
Quando eles
Tu tens
perguntam,
que olhar-
diz, olha.
E tu tens que olhar para os teus colegas para ver onde é que eles estão, porque nós temos que ir todos juntos, percebes?
Mas nós atrasamos.
Epá, não, mas estamos aqui à boia à tua espera, meu. E é sempre a minha ideia. Ok, guys, just an announcement. Can you come closer? I have to do a quick announcement, it's very important. Now we go to eat a custard tart. It's gonna be one each for free, okay? If you want something else, we cannot pay, so I ask, if you want to drink something else, go to the queue, but go straight away, don't go on the end, okay?
Yeah.
If you need toilets, there is a code, it's 3366. And another thing I must ask you, please, stay together, don't go anywhere, stay with us. I'm asking this because sometimes people just go away to take pictures, they disappear, and we lose 1 hour of tour. And everybody's paying for a tour, and it's not nice if we have to wait here 1 hour for one person.
Okay.
It already happened, that's what I'm saying. Okay, let's go.
Mas tu também podes, quando os outros falam, tu dizes, moment please, let's go first to the other place to join.
Pá, que eu também não gosto de ser rude, estás a ver? É pá,
Isso não é
olha, olha,
rude,
vamos.
não é rude, isso é leadership.
Eu digo neles, olha, já está na
Não,
hora
isso não é
disso.
rude,
Só que o meu-
não é rude.
You don't necessarily have to go back.
Pá, que eu também não gosto de estar sempre a correr com os clientes, é pá, gosto de ser atencioso, com calma.
Sim, não, mas há momentos que tu tens que pensar também aos outros clientes, porque eles estavam à espera, não é só teus.
Quanto tempo
Não,
nós-
não é, a regra é assim. Aceita.
Tá bem. E quanto tempo é que nós ficamos lá na Senhora do Monte? Qual é que é o tempo estipulado? Eu pensava que era 15 minutos, nós ficamos lá só 5
Porquê tu
minutos.
pensaste isso?
Porque
Alguém disse isso?
sim, acho que das outras
Se
vezes
tu não sabes,
disseram,
se tu não
eu acho que
sabes,
das outras vezes
se tu
disseram
não
uns 15
sabes,
minutos.
se tu não sabes, perguntas ao líder, porque ele faz os horários.
Às vezes até se calhar deixa os clientes saírem do tubo, olha, fiquem todos no tubo, não tem nada a ver.
Tu também tens cabeça para pensar.
O pessoal está sempre a correr, sempre a correr.
Quem está a correr?
Gosto de deixar os clientes com calma, pá, ok, eu compreendo, pá, mas também não é por 5 minutos a mais ou 5 minutos a menos. Eu acho que aqui deve haver.
Desesperado, não? E tu, isso não funciona. Tens que mudar de maneira de estar.
Os primeiros clientes ingleses, depois fui à procura dos russos, eles separam-se. O que és que eu faço? Dos russos, eu não posso deixar os outros clientes.
Então fica sempre a ver todos juntos. É que é a solução disto.
Como se na trela, estás a ver? Não gosto disso.
Se tu não gostas, é preciso, são dois pontos diferentes.
Pronto. Eu tenho uma forma
eu faço molotov. Mas não é uma bomba, não é um coisa assim. É isso que eu fiz. Normalmente eu gosto de falar do navegações, do triângulo.
Tu já conseguiste arranjar? Estás a procurar?
Gostava de juntar com amigos que eu tive no outro filme, que estão também a ver. Já são 2, que é 2 quartos, e se são 3, é melhor, mais económico. Arrendaram com um apartamento completamente.
Em Lisboa?
Em Lisboa.
Estás a tentar fazer isso?
Eu preciso um pouco mais de tempo. E esse também é o problema que isto está a travar comprar uma moto. Quando eu cheguei aqui em Lisboa, não vou comprar já a moto só em 2 anos quando eu quero andar a moto. Isso custa também dinheiro. Quando eu ando com a moto quando eu fico lá, pago 50 euros andar todo dia para cá. Quando eu tenho uma renda mais alta em Lisboa, já não é que não.
Eu consegui resolver esse problema há uns anos. No início não gostei muito, mas agora eu não quero outra coisa. Fico numa aldeiazinha ao lado de Camarate. São velhotes, vê-se os aviões, mas não se ouvem. É um sossego. E é muito perto, 15 km. A Boa Senhoria é um espetáculo. É muito bom. Pessoa formada da judiciária, é uma cave. No inverno é um bocado lixado, mas agora no verão a casa está fresca sempre fresquinha. Sempre fresca.
Carro é bom, normalmente é a melhor coisa que pode ser. A única coisa que o carro tem que ver que há suficiente oxigênio.
Sim.
Isso é que é.
Já conheço as manhas à casa, já sei lidar com ela de verão e de inverno. Estás a ver?
Uma maioria deles não são verdadeiros.
Então, 8h30. Festa.
Levantar aqui então já. Os clientes dele. Yuri, vai já com eles. Faz esses dois.
São 5 eu tenho.
Vai com os teus dois, estás chamando. Já sell with me, please?
São 5. Não, 5.
Não, eu só levo um. Deixa eu ver. Assim que é muita gente por aí. Quanto mais começo a falar com ele,
Já chamaste lá dentro.
vamos só contar. Uns 12, 13.
That was very nice, thank you.
It's nice. You're welcome. For the rest of the
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
They're fine if we don't take us all back.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Mais dois que tem.
Mas são 18.
Sim, mas os dois são com o Yuri.
Não, eu vou uma.
Não, eram dois. Mas o Yuri levou dois, não.
Pá, mas eu comentei 5. Pois tu tinhas 5 e um saiu. But also sound. You can still read the original name on the side.
không phải là mình tránh chị cũng cái đồ như này không nào.
So our tuk is not this one, is the next one, the next screen.
Ở the booking grab. They were in front. They were in front. They were in front.
Those?
This is ours.
Oh, they come. Sim. Gostou?
Yes.
Be careful when you are in. Be careful with your head.
Ok, 5.
Why two?
Ah, ok.
Like that.
So, what?
Thank you.
Time in Lisbon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So another, if you have problems, it is for cleaning your hands.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, já tem alguns. So this monument where we were passing by, always we will pass again. That is the Restauradores. So I already said that Spanish or the Castilians before never take us by war. But one time, when our king had no child, the kingdom fallen to the Spanish. And we get 3 Spanish kings, Philip I to Philip III. For the Spanish was the Philip II to Philip IV. And after 60 years, we want to go rid of them. So we make a revolution, make us free, and then we have to join our empire again. And that is a monument to remember the people who sail all over the world to bring our colonies again to the Portuguese rule. The Restauradores means restoration of our empire.
Okay, let's continue.
Good. This street is the most expensive street of Lisbon. With the most expensive stores from designers from all over the world are located here.
The name of that one is Alfama, and the other side of the avenue.
So I already told you about Uptown, and we have some elevadores which bring the people to Uptown. Elevadores could be lifts or peniculas, and one of the penicula you see on the right side. There we are. Oh, it's already now on the way to go up. So now on the right side you will see a theater which is built in the 20th century, early 20th century, in the style Art Deco. This one here, Eden Theater, but nowadays it is a hotel. Yes, to the train station. Yeah, I can feel that gun. So now I want, I can begin to share you how we became our dictator. So our kingdom ended about 120 years ago, and it is because our nationalist was not very happy that our kingdom couldn't join the Mozambique and Angola, which is in Africa and beside, to one big country. And so they killed the king and the prince. So and then we get our first republic. It was a democracy, but not that well organized. Please look on the right side. That is the lift. Bring us to uptown. Behind it is a bridge built 1902. So we get a republic, our first republic, 1920. And our money at that time was printed in England by a company, and that was also a guy. He go to England and he pretend he came from the government and he needs another row of the Portuguese money. Another row of the Portuguese money. And so the company said, you don't come here pretend you are coming from the government. Without written proof, there's nothing possible. And then he go home, written the proof by himself. Try again. The biggest fraud ever was made by this guy, and he fooled the National Bank, which is here on the left side, this building. After this titled house, that was the building of the National Bank. This building here. So And then he get a complete new roll of the same notes of a year. And you can guess, past then, Portugal was a rich country with a lot of colonies, so the money worth a lot. So he lived in the first years like a king. So he lived like a king, and after a few years he get a bit afraid, because he knows when someday he will get in trouble. But he noticed that the National Bank was half private. So his plan was to buy the National Bank. So he built a bank, and this bank bought in small proportion the National Bank. But this small proportion, you can guess, is not that small. So the inflation runs up. And there was a professor in northern Portugal, in Porto. He said that the numbers of the National Bank didn't fit with the inflation. And then 2 weeks later, there was one guy with 2 notes with the same numbers. So it was found out. So what's then happened? The army wants to clean up the mess, take over the government, and put the professor who found the problem on charge. His name was Salazar. And of course, he had some knowledge about economics, but our country get poorer and poorer, because in that time other nations started the Industrial Revolution, and Portugal don't pass a bit, because this dictatorship was way too heavy that the people have a free thinking. So in that time, I can tell you from my parents, a toilet in Portugal was luxury. So the people make it like the animals on the floor. So it was worse than nowadays India, and we get our freedom then 1974, more than 49 years later. And then with our freedom, we began to buy bicycles. Then we could make our service faster, we had more money, we buy motorbikes, and then after a few years we buy cars, and it get better and better, even that we was not anymore a colonial empire. The people get more rich than before, only because we have freedom. So that is the whole story about our dictatorship. We are now on the way to Bairro Alto, to uptown, and the street we will go now is the Rua Garrett. And the Rua Garrett, there was a shop who served the king families and all the upper class. And here was tailors, modists, shoemakers for the upper class. And of course, because we are a long time without kings, all of them disappear, exception one of them, and that is the bookstore. And this bookstore have nowadays a title. The title of this bookstore is the oldest bookstore in the world. And it is this house on the corner, Livraria Bernard, this year. Service since 1732. The oldest bookstore in the world, this was. So look inside this one. Nowadays the doors are open. That is built in like the 16th Capel in Vatican, Rome. Because we had to rebuild our city again after the earthquake. Also our churches was rebuilt, and every church have a different style. So now come the most important things for the man, the brewery. The old brewery on the left side, on the end of this cobblestone street, you see a yellow house, the color of our beer, golden yellow. With nice yellow titles. So, and the next one is the place called Carmo. And Carmo, there's the Church of Carmo. And the Church of Carmo was never rebuilt after the earthquake. Please look on the right side. And you see this church have no roof on the top. They just leave it like it is to remember the earthquake. And the next building is the headquarters of the National Guard. That is also the place where our revolution ended. So because the dictator fled to this house, to the National Guard. And when you see this National Guard in the house, you see, notice, we have also some blonde guys. He's on a helmet, so not real. So now you see again the brewery on the right, now a bit nearer, and you can see the titles, the yellow titles. So on the left side, you see the Theater Trinidad. In English, would be the Theater of Trinity. Here's the front side. There's the Theater of the Time of the Kings. So this building on the left, you see, that is the committee of the 25th of April, the day of our revolution against our dictator. Because every year on 25th of April, we go out of the street, put a carnation flower on our clothes. And sing the old song which was played in the radio about brotherhood and freedom. And last year it was 2024. It made 50 years, 1 year longer than our dictatorship. And the people came from all over the world to Lisbon to celebrate with us our Freedom Day. 25th of April. So this place is another mirador and viewpoint. This name of it is São Pedro de Alcântara. And there's some buildings on the top, but there's you can see in front. It's one of the nicest view you can have here in Lisbon. And it's also a bit bigger than the other ones you saw in part of Greece. Underneath. So, because one of our colonies was Macau, where China is, we have also Chinese family, well, since 300, 400 years in Portugal. And of course, they are not completely Chinese anymore. They are more mixed up. And one of them, of the shops, one of the first, is this red one, with the sheets is down, which is nowadays, it is a cocktail and bistro. And they have a lot of antiquities from all over the world inside. Very nice to go there. Have a tradition over 100 years. So the next building, which is important, will appear in our front. It is a white house. It is the Prince Real, the house where our crown prince lived. I will tell you. So now comes a white, then came a pink house, and then came a white house again, and then you see the old palace of the prince. And yes, he lived in the center of the city with the other people from the upper class around. Oh, this one. On the right, you see the botanic garden inside of this building.